And now time for the V3 Fights middleweight division battle between this guy, Game Ready Castillo, and Jordan the Lion Fowler. Castillo hails from Jackson, Mississippi. We had a Jackson, Tennessee fighter earlier. He's from Jackson, Mississippi, and Black Sails MMA, coached by Johnny Little. Will be cornered by Caleb Harris and Josh Weems. He comes in with a 1-0 record.
He's excited. He didn't care who he was fighting. Obviously, Jordan Fowler is a lot more experienced, a lot more fights. His teammate, James Horn, who's fighting for us professionally later tonight, said, this kid will fight anybody to be on this card. We want to be a part of it. I said, hey, I've got Jordan Fowler. They said, we'll take it.
And despite just the one fight under his belt, he seems like a more experienced fighter. He has sparred, he has been working out for a long time, so don't let that fool you.
There's a reason he's willing to take a fight with a guy that has 14 fights.
And that is Jordan the Lion Fowler, who hails from Bono, Arkansas, and fights out of Warrior Gym, coached by Keith Fowler and Glenn Cole, who will be cornered by the same two. He has fought for V3 3 prior times, fighting the likes of Eric Anders, Terry Johnson, and Steven Birdsong. He comes in, as you mentioned, with 14 fights under his belt, 5 wins and 9 defeats. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this middleweight division battle. Castillo, 6'3", 184, an MMA fighter, 73-inch reach. He's 30 years of age. Fowler, despite all the fights, is 4 years his junior at 26, a 6-foot, 186-pounder. He is a wrestler. So for Fowler to have success, and certainly he's been working on his striking and other aspects of MMA, but he would love to get it to the ground.
Fowler actually has the fastest knockout in the history of Arkansas in only 7 seconds.
Yeah, he beat Dylan Goforth with a head kick. So here's a guy who may be a wrestler by trade, but he is a guy who certainly has the whole package. The problem is defending himself and getting himself into trouble. And Castillo, well, we'll see if he lives up to his name of Game Ready. Let's get the introduction of the two with Michael Kelly.
V3 Legion. This bout is brought to you by Platinum Jewelers and is set for 3 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Here was the black trunks with the gold flake trim. At 6'3", he weighed in at 184.2 pounds. An all-around fighter representing Black Sails MMA and fighting out of Jackson, Mississippi, Game Ready Castillo. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the orange corner. Here was the gray trunks with the black trim at 6 feet even. He weighed in at 185.9 pounds. A wrestler representing Warriors Gym and fighting out of Bono, Arkansas, Jordan the Lion Fowler.
And Fowler says he wants to turn pro after this fight. With 14, this will be his 15th amateur fight. But can he come away with a victory and have that momentum going into a professional career? A guy who started martial arts at the age of 3, but he's in for a battle with Castillo. Round 1, here we go, scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds.
There you see those head kicks from Fowler. You see Jaylin's got those Muay Thai type shorts on, so let's see if that's his specialty. Fowler, a tough opponent, very hard to finish. As you mentioned, fought guys like Eric Anders, Terry Johnson, beat Terry Johnson, who is a pro now.
Nice combination by Castillo, then backs his way out of it. And we talked about Castillo. He may have only fought one time, but he has obviously had a lot of experience in sparring and training. But Fowler, there's no substitute for actual fights.
Absolutely.
And he has 14 of them.
Pacing yourself, understanding the conditioning that's required to fight 9 minutes.
Now the takedown and then the flip.
Fowler gets rolled but keeps control there. Is able to finish still on top. Now you see Jaylin kind of just holding on, keeping him close to his body, which tells me he's not very confident on the ground.
Fowler with side control, trying to work his way to a mount, and there it is.
Looks like he may be going for an arm triangle here. He's going to want to come out to the side. He's got to come out to the side, but Jaylin is almost able to build the base up.
Castillo in a little bit of trouble here in round number 1.
Fowler wants to come out to that same side, put some pressure on. Jaylin's able to defend well so far.
He's a big, strong guy, no question about it.
Fowler's going to need to change now to a rear naked, but he's got his back. He's got those hooks in. Fowler's high here. See if Jaylin can just kind of shake him off.
And he will, it looks like.
But look at Fowler's got that arm lock there, the key lock.
He had it. He had it for a second, but he had to let it go.
Sometimes you're focused on one thing and you don't realize there's something else coming for you.
Now Fowler again tried to get the takedown and bring it back to the ground. He had some pretty good success. Oh, nice lead right by Fowler, though. And a knee as the counter by Castillo is effective. But just one knee, and then he backs away. 30 seconds to go, round 1.
Castillo really keeping his hands in real tight. Hasn't really let himself go yet, not very fluid. You see Fowler try to drop down for that shot attack. But what you've got to be worried about as an amateur here is you shoot straight in like that, you're going to eat a knee.
10 seconds to go in the first round. What I could tell is Castillo does not have a strong left. See, he's kind of just lunges with the left, and the right is what he's loading up for.
Actually,
and that'll do it for the first round.
Ate a pretty good jab there coming in as well. You see him kind of touching his eye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome V3 Cage Girl Haley.
First round action. I think another great point by you. The tightness you see with Castillo, even though that was his probably best moment of the first round. But Fowler's a cool customer.
Absolutely. He finishes that takedown. He gets rolled, but he keeps his composure and still ends up finishing on top. He goes for that arm triangle submission, but Castillo's able to keep his cool as well and not get submitted. There was that jab, that straight. So, good first round. I'm wondering about Jaylin's conditioning here. He looked a little light on his feet towards the end of the round, so I'm curious to see how this second round goes.
Keith Fowler, Glenn Cole talking to Jordan. And there is game-ready Castillo. Kind of stumbling out of the corner there. But a good first round for Fowler. We'll see if he wants to take it down right away. I would not be surprised, though, if he goes for the head kick right off the bat here and try to end this thing. Round 2, here we go on V3 Fights.
Again, Castillo has those two hands real close to each other in the center of his chest, which is not an ordinary position. Fowler tries to do a duck under, maybe a fireman's carry, but gets put on his butt. And now Castillo has the takedown. Let's see what he can do from top control here. He's got his hands locked under there. Castillo does, which means he can't throw any punches. Wisely lets Fowler up, just wasn't a good position for him to be in, which tells you he's not comfortable down there.
See that left? There's just nothing behind that left. It's the weakest of his punches by far.
Really haven't seen any kicks from him either.
No.
You know, he's wearing those Valley Tudo ankle braces, which tells you he does like to kick. And there we see one, but Fowler's able to trap that leg, goes for a takedown. Castillo is able to pull it back and throw a knee on the break.
See, he'll lead with that left, but his power comes from the right hand. See, just nothing behind the left, but he's a strong guy. There's no question about it. The right just has more snap to it.
He throws that straight with an emphasis every time he does it.
Let's see if Fowler tries to get this thing on the ground here, but right now, he's going toe-to-toe with Castillo. Yep. Ducks out of the way. Nice lead right, little pop by Fowler. We approach a minute to go in this second round. And there's what I expected, but look at how strong Castillo is.
It's just really not a good shot that Fowler is taking. It's really hard to take a shot on somebody when they're backing up. They don't have the momentum coming in. You know, he's in a position here where he could dump Castillo with a short fireman's, with an arm drag. he's just not going for it.
Fowler works as a law enforcement officer and a personal trainer, married, a couple of kids. He says the family is what motivates him. All right, back to their feet again with 40 to go in round 2.
Castillo, even though he's from a few hours south of here, actually has quite a few fans here.
Pretty vocal as well.
James Horn, his teammate, a big following, brought a lot of guys up. 3 people from Black Sails MMA on the card today. Really happy to have them on board.
The other being Gannon Hayes. In fact, he'll fight next. Castillo played high school football and basketball at James Madison High School in San Antonio, Texas, but now out of Jackson, Mississippi. Final seconds here in round number 2.
Nice overhand right from Fowler on that exchange. Might have been one of the most solid punches landed so far.
Cardiovascular-wise, you see Castillo leaning on the side of the cage. Now he'll go down to the stool. I don't think the action was that furious in the second round that it should take him out from a stamina standpoint. He should be able to get his win back, and it should be an interesting third round. But Fowler looks like he's hardly even sweating.
Fowler still looks good, but again, when you've got 15 fights, you know how to pace yourself.
Right.
You know what it's like. His last fight went all 3 rounds. He's been there, he's done that to where Castillo isn't used to it.
And there you see, game ready. Jay Castillo trying to stay undefeated. As I mentioned earlier, Fowler says he wants to turn pro after this fight. I don't know if the outcome of the fight will be the ultimate decision maker for him, but he's 26 years of age, 14 fights. This is number 15 under his belt. If he wants to do something in his profession, it's probably about time. Now the record, you would think 5-9. Maybe he's not professional MMA material, but we mentioned some of the guys he has fought. He's not afraid to go toe-to-toe with the best.
Most of those guys he lost to are professionals now.
Round 3, here we go on V3 Fights. This to decide it. Fowler looks for a takedown.
Double, and he's going to take him down, but he puts him right on top of him.
And now Castillo, he gets bucked off him. What a job there by Fowler. He was ready to load, it looked like, with some ground and pound.
But all because Fowler didn't take the double leg down like he wanted. He was working for a big slam and instead failed, and Castillo winds up on top. We'll see what kind of trouble he's in here. He's really not fighting the hands. He needs to do that. I don't know why he's not. He's got his chin tucked. There's probably not a lot of pressure, but you still need to fight those hands because right now, this is scoring points on the judges' scorecards for Castillo.
That's a good point.
You see Castillo squeezing really hard here. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have anything. He's going to burn himself out a little bit.
Well, now he turns around in a mount here. Now he's going to start with a couple of punches to the side, and then he tried that big elbow, but Fowler was able to move out of the way.
Just kind of waiting for that opportunity to reverse it, which he does. But he's got to get to work here if he wants to win this round and possibly the fight. Could be 1-1 going into the third.
That was a golden opportunity for Castillo, I think. He let that slide by. Now halfway home in round 3, the third and decisive round in this middleweight division battle.
Fowler's been able to get to side control. Little more difficult when you're up against the cage to get some movement. See if he wants to try to slip out and get full mount. Now he's completely in side control. He was in half guard earlier. I'm sorry.
He puts that big knee on the stomach of Castillo, but Castillo now turns him back towards the cage. Now another roll and side mount once again with under a minute to go.
Still side control, but Castillo does not want to let go of that choke. Fowler should start dropping some elbows, throwing some punches.
It looked like he tried to, Jason, there, but he was kept at bay by Castillo. Castillo's a pretty good defender.
Really holding on, keeping Fowler close to his body so Jordan can't break free, get some distance, and throw some punches. Fowler's got control of that right arm now. Let's see what he can do with it. Nice uppercut.
Yes, that was a good shot right there. But it's one punch. Final 10 seconds of this fight. Fowler now trying to show the judges he's working. And this is going to go to the judges' scorecards. Fowler really strong early on. In my opinion, won the fight. What do you think?
You know, this is a toss-up here. I think Fowler won the first round. I think the second round could have gone either way. The third round could have gone either way as well. This is a tough one to score. You see Jordan gets punched a little. I don't know if this is the third round or not, but he throws some punches. He drops down for a double in that third round, but he doesn't take it down correctly. There was a nice body kick. This is some highlights from the entire fight. Castillo staying busy. Here's that double leg. He picks it up, and he slips, and Castillo winds up on top of him off of his own takedown. If he would have put the exclamation mark on that, that probably would have won him the fight.
It's interesting. You look at these highlights and you think Castillo won the fight. Now right here, that's the uppercut you talked about from the ground in the final seconds of that third round, which scores in the eyes of the judges. But we see that the scorecards aren't in yet. I'm not sure if that means that the judges are having a tougher time to decide on this one. Finally, the cards are in. Let's see, is it Castillo or is it Fowler in this V3 Fights middleweight division battle? Let's go to the scorecards. Let's go to Michael Kelly.
V3 Legion, make some noise for both of these warriors. What about? After 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. All 3 judges scoring this one for your winner by unanimous decision, Jordan the Lion Fowler.
All right, so there you go. Unanimous decision victory for Fowler. And I would imagine that was good enough for him to make up his mind to turn pro.
Absolutely. Good performance. Good fight. Well-rounded. Castillo came in here. There's a reason he was willing to take that fight. His team obviously prepared him well. He's got a couple things to work on, and I'd love to have him back in our cage.
So 2 of our 3 fights to this point have gone to the judges' scorecards, with Fowler winning that middleweight division clash. And earlier it was Adrian Grundy in a catchweight 150-pounder. Coming up next, we mentioned Gannon the Cannon Hayes from that same Black Sails MMA club. We got another catchweight 150-pound battle we'll get to in just a moment.